Alright, we're going to look at these. Need to take a little thickness off of the width there to get the guard to go over. It's looking pretty good. It came out real nice. Just did a really great job. Just outstanding job on that weld. So look at that one. It's really nice. I haven't even put it on. I'm going to sand them up on my 10-inch wheel here, but okay, I've got to take more on the width, and then the thickness needs to come down. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that. Then I'll bring them out here and smooth them up on the 10-inch wheel with some 80 grit. Guys, these welds just came out outstanding. Look at that. I want you to look at that. This could be touched up there, but 95% of the connection got welded together, but the majority, they came out really nice. So these are going to be super strong. I thought about sending this back to have it just a little bit welded right there, but I don't think it's going to make any difference since I'm going to cold weld around it. Over 90% of the front connection, like I said, it's connected really nice. It's all melted to the tang. The welds all went together completely with the middle section of the tang, or the main portion of the pencil tang has all been melted in with this. So I used 5160 is what I made the modifications, you know, the tang extensions that fit over these pencil tangs. So this is 5160 spring steel. This is 440 stainless, which is 440A, both of them. So if you have anything that says 440 stainless, it's 440A stainless steel. So we're looking at around 0.60% carbon in the stainless, and that's going to match your 5160 spring steel. So the carbon content, that's just my opinion on it. I felt like this being at the same amount of carbon as the 5160, that it's going to take a good weld. They just came out, like I said, they just came out really amazing. I'm just really impressed. But these are going to, I don't think it's going to affect the strength at all. The majority, over 90% of it, again, is all solid welded. And then, so I'm going to go ahead and drill my 1/4-inch holes here for my titanium pins. And these will get cut down just under 2 inches. And these will be inserted into the hollow handles. You know, of course, we've got our guards that go on here. And we need to make sure everything is sliding on, which I checked it does. I mean, I couldn't ask for a better mod outcome. So I feel so much better. I'm gonna do the modifications on the tower serrations to make those more effective. We're gonna do the modern counter sawback serrations on both of them, and I'll have these are gonna be so much stronger. So cool. So when I get it completely built, I'll do another follow-up video for you guys. This is all being documented, and appreciate you stopping by. Alright, I just want to add this to this video because I'm documenting this. If you have these vintage, you know, these vintage hollow handles for all nice, say a Buckmaster 184, you may have an IMAX. This one's an IMAX. These were made in Japan. This one here is an Explorer Master 21032, also made in Japan. You can do the exact same thing that I did. Go back to my videos. I'll put links below on this where I show you. I just made some custom pieces out of 5160 that fit right over that threaded pencil tang. And you need a really good welder. I had my brother's company him and the guy that worked there, James, is his top welder there. I'm sure he had James do it. I know my brother welds too. But you need a really competent welder. And look at this. I mean, you can get these things back just like these are built just like my STK models. That's going to be so much stronger. You can have your really formidable knife, lock this thing out with a titanium pin like what I do, 1/4 inch round bar stock. And I used 5160 because this is 440A. It's going to have really close to the exact same carbon amount. So they're going to really bond molecularly. At the molecular level, when you do the arc welding, those two steels are just going to bond very well. So you can arc weld stainless steel with high carbon, but I recommend, if this is like a stainless, with a 5160 we had really good luck. I feel like we had really good luck with very little, just slight lamination on a couple spots between this is, like I said, this 440A with a 5160. So I just wanted to document that for you guys. If you ever want to do your own modifications, you'll know what kind of steel that's going to really work for you with that 440 stainless. Okay, so on my STK models, I usually go 2 1/4 from the shoulders. On these, I mark 2 inches on the Tang. So I'm going to cut these off right there where I marked them in red, and we'll drill that 1/4 inch hole about right there. That'll be perfect. That's where our titanium pin, the 1/4 inch hole, is going to be drilled. Alright guys, I've got my tangs cut down where I want. They're going to be right at about 2 inches from the shoulders. And I'm going to go ahead, I've got the, I want to drill my 1/4 inch hole right here. So let's go ahead and get those. You just have to be pretty close, kind of close right in the spine. Let's take a look. Here's a titanium bar stock. See how that's tight and snug? That's what you want right there. We don't want to bore that hole out when you drill those. That way when you put that pin in there, it's nice and snug. Alright. So we got that one. Let's go ahead and drill the other one. If you keep the drill bit cool, just your drill bit will last longer in the long run. That's kind of why I do that. I could drill it on through, but then bits get really hot. So I like to keep them cool so that way I don't have to buy them as often, you know, make them last longer. See how it's really tight? That's what you want right there. Perfect. Alright, so we get that done. Okay, I want you guys to look, get a close look at these tangs. Just how it meshed and made a single piece. The two metals arc welded and blended them beautifully together. There's just a slight amount of D-lam there. It's not very deep at all. Little spot there, but it's not gonna hurt anything because it doesn't go very deep. And this is going to be completely cold welded on the outside, pressure sealed with our titanium pin through the hole. We're going to have a really strong and robust hollow handle survival knife there with my STK modification. Doing the tang the right way. This is the way I do my tangs. You guys, when I build my hollow handle survival knives, you guys just know that I've got 6.8 millimeter blade stock thickness, 3/4 inches wide, going into those hollow handle tubes, 2 1/4 inches from the shoulders. On these I just went 2 because they're vintage models. I could have even went 1 1/2, but I want them really strong. So I got them just right there at 2 from the shoulders. So when we get the guard on there, we've got a 1/4 inch guard. We've got quite a bit of tang. But there's enough room left. See, there's room in that hollow handle tube there, right there. You can put a little ferro rod for starting fires. There's enough room to put fishing line, some hooks and sinkers. You don't need all that real estate to put a few little survival items in there. We can go in deeper. You have a stronger mechanical hold attachment, plus you've got better balance, guys. It's all about balance. When that tangs go in deeper, you're just naturally going to have a better balanced knife, and you're going to have more control. That equates to a safer knife for the end user. Alright guys, this is what I do with my SnowTac hollow handle knives. We go 2 1/4. But I want to do these mods on this because it just makes me feel so much better. Look how the metal blended in. We've got a single piece. This is all going to get liquid cold welded. This will be pressure. I go down in that tube and I squirt all that cold weld in there. We squeeze it in there and it goes around that massive tang, around that titanium pin. And when that thing dries, you've got one hell of a strong hollow handle survival knife. Way more balanced. Index is better. Just feels like a dream. It feels like a full tang knife, but you've got the best of both worlds there. Then you got some room, a little over half of the tube left for your survival items. It's a win-win. Okay, guys. These are the vintage Japanese versions of the Buckmaster 184. These are STK mods, upgrades. I've got the guard stamped, and they'll be completely rebuilt and put together here soon. We're almost there. We'll see you guys on the finished product. I've got to do the mods to the serrations. I'm going to do the modern counter sawback serrations to these. We're going to make these where they really perform, just like I do now on my M24, M23, the BA26, and the AC25. I'll catch you guys on the next one.